I'm ready enough.
Okay. Wait. So. Let us begin.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle.
My
I'm
name
the
is
recruiter
Rose.
for Riot Games. Nice
Okay.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So, tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm Ruben Troost. I currently study at the IBS, at the International Business School in Groningen, which you probably could have heard as Hans Hogeschool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a traineeship here at Riot as the accounting and finance lead, because I personally know a lot about the company because I'm someone who games a lot and I play your games regularly.
Okay.
So I found out about it on Indeed, and also because on the website of Riot itself, which I frequently travel to, I found out that there were a lot of vacancy opens. So I thought, why not go for a traineeship?
Okay. And what is your favorite game by us?
Yeah, Valorant. It's the shooter game. I'm not a big fan of the other ones, but I know enough about it, and it also because it goes well with my strengths of the concentration and task defining and teamwork, which all correlates to the game and hopefully as well with this traineeship.
Okay. Let's get started then. My first question to you is, have you ever had to work with someone that you didn't really get along with? And if so, how did you deal with this situation?
Yeah, with my current job that I work at Haarsma Food Impulse, which is a Dutch company, you probably haven't heard about it, but it's a small business which does warehousing with foods and drinks and whatnot.
Okay.
I had one colleague who I can't really work together with. It's because it works with a small hierarchy.
Okay.
So he stands above me and basically everything that he says I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the requests that he makes are unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So my way of trying to solve it was either going to him directly, is what I did. Didn't really work out, but I went to him directly and asked him what his, sounds kind of rude, but his problem was with me.
Okay.
Because you could see that I was getting all the bad jobs. I went to talks with him because I'm somebody who likes to communicate instead of talking to somebody behind their back, because I think it's better to solve a problem with the person who causes the problem himself than going to an higher up, which I could have done to resolve the problem itself.
Okay.
I tried to solve it, sadly it didn't work, but my way of methods in this case is I went to him, I asked him, why do I get all the bad jobs in the company? Because the jobs are really divided, you have some really bad jobs. He gave me all the bad jobs, so I went to him, what's wrong, why am I getting all the bad jobs? After hearing to him, it made more sense because he explained to me that he just wants me to gain the experience first before I get to do the easier jobs, because of course the people who work there longer already done the dirty jobs. This also made me realize that I mostly view stuff for short term and not so much for long term,
Okay.
which is some point I should work at, which made it clear. And in the end, the problem itself didn't really get solved because I still worked the bad jobs, but now at least I know why I worked the bad jobs, and I'm more than content with it now.
All right. And do you usually work within a team? And if so, how do you contribute in a positive way while working within a team?
I usually work within a team as well as for the study that I do. We do a lot of group projects. There's not much stuff that you need to do alone in terms of assessments. The tests, of course, are alone. At work as well, because I work the weekends, I work a lot in shifts with a certain group of people. So I always work with the same group of people, so you could view it as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of experience working with it, and personally for me, I think it works better because I'm not somebody who does a lot for themselves. I usually view it more like, how would I feel if somebody in my group didn't deliver their part, or if somebody in my group for work didn't show up on time or didn't do their work effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mostly how I look at it. That's also how I do it at my current job, because I work two jobs, but one job works with a team.
Okay.
Usually beforehand, before we go, we sit down for 15 minutes. We go over the points that need to be done. And usually the parts that either take more effort or take more time or more strength, I usually volunteer to it. Because we have two people who have really bad legs, so they can't really do the hard jobs. So I like to take on that role to take on the heavy stuff. And working in group projects for school usually means that I want to, how do you explain it? I don't really necessarily take the big parts, but I also don't stray away from the parts that I find difficult, because I think it's good if you learn about the project parts that you made and don't just every time take the same part that looks the easiest to you. So I think looking back at it, the results in me usually being in the middle. I don't do the most, but I also don't do the least, and I try to take the not necessarily the difficult parts, but the parts that I don't understand yet in order to learn from it. And I think if you look at it in a way that, if you reflect to it, is that it shows that I am somebody who does not steer away from a difficult job, and that I like working together with a team, because I'm not somebody who likes to do stuff on their own.
All right. My next question to you is, have you ever received negative feedback from a manager, your employer, or from a colleague, and how did you deal with that?
I did. It was once again the same person that gave me all the difficult jobs. I don't really have to explain it any further because I already introduced him. What basically happened is, instead of going to me about the problem, why he had a problem with me, I believe it was my work ethic. He didn't really want to explain it to me, because he's somebody who strictly believes in higher-ups, in hierarchy.
Okay.
So he went to his boss, which is my boss as well, to complain about me, and I had to come in for a short conversation, and it resulted in somebody following me for the day to see where I did wrong and where it all went good. So I would have wished to talk to him about it one-on-one in order to improve myself and to show my point of view, because that's what I like to do: show my point of view, show their point of view, and then talk about it. Sadly enough, it didn't happen. He did complain about me. I had a conversation with the HR department, not my boss, but the HR department, and I had somebody tell me for a day, and it resulted into me showing that not everybody is on the same page as you, which I had the experience for previously. And the result of it was that I got some improvements out of that day, because the person who told me was not necessarily a friend of mine, but somebody who I could work with well. So he gave me some tips about how to package the products and how heavy they need to be before they break. So I got the general information from it, which was good. So as a reflection, not everybody does everything the same way that I do, and that's fine. I just have to accept it and to learn other ways to improve myself and improve for everybody else.
Yeah, you have to make a compromise.
Yeah.
And what would you consider your biggest workplace achievement?
This is from the other job. I also work for my parents' company. It's called Brouwer Ongediertebestrijding, which is a pesticide control company.
Okay.
But my dad loves everything about biology. My mom, is strictly there for the accounting and financing. But because of my my dad's work ethic, I learned that even in pesticide control, the main focus is not about killing all the mice and the rats and everything. The main part that my dad does is to keep them out of the company, so the houses of the people.
Okay.
So what I do, I work with him regular days for the steenmacher, which is an animal who goes underneath your roof, and it will get out all the insulation. It will take it all out to create pockets of hot air for him and his and her children to stay in.
Okay.
And I followed my dad basically the entire summer vacation. And then the last week of the summer vacation, I did my first entire roof for myself, which I think was my biggest accomplishment.
Okay.
Because it's something that shows me that my boss put a lot of trust in me, because he expected me to do it. It shows for me that I have the effort and the skills that it takes to persist through difficult jobs, because they're all that easy. And I think mostly because it's something a grown adult would do, and it's an adult job, and I did it at 18 years old. So I think that gave me a big confidence boost.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to reflect to it, if I have to take a reflection to it, I think it generally improved my self-consciousness about how a job works, because I did know so many parts went into it, because you have to run the numbers, you have to calculate the roof size, the hours, you have to take in an hourly wage. I have to pre-buy every part that I want to get. I also have to make sure that I have enough room in the car. So it takes in a lot of, I learned a lot of valuable lessons about how to account for a job and how to run the numbers while working a job.
Okay, interesting. And what do you want to achieve from this internship? What do you hope to gain? What skills do you want to improve on from this internship?
Well, from this internship, I mostly found it out, of course, about my passion for the game. So I came here for the passion for the game, trying to improve it. But I've also come to the recognition that I'm not really an artist type person. I don't do well with drawings. I can't draw for anything. My handwriting is generally really bad. So anything that takes something remotely type of skill in being artistic is not really my style.
Okay.
So I looked further into the job, and I found out about the accounting and the financing, and seeing what it does with my study that I take right now, which in the previous year, especially, and also previous period, we have a lot of calculations with money, how much money is worth, in how much it was worth in the past, and how much it is worth in the future. We made a lot of balance sheets. We made a plan how to run a company. We simulated a company. So everything about my study and my previous work experience lead me to believe that I personally want to work in the financing and the accounting sector.
Mm-hmm.
And why not work for the company that I already know a lot about? Because, of course, it's my hobby, and I generally really like the calculations that come with money. The balance sheet and making the relations is also a part that I have experience with, of course, my previous job and with the group projects, but how to divide tasks, how to talk somebody, because not everybody likes to be talked to in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So finding out the levels and how to talk to people and when to consider people your friends, which are the skills that I learned. I also like to improve on my skills of managing and keeping it all together, mostly about the numbers. I'm not really a group leader. I like to listen and do my job.
Mm-hmm.
And for the accounting numbers is sometimes I have some problems about recognizing when sometimes something falls into a different bracket than the other one. So I like in this internship, this traineeship, that I could get some help about, well, looking at balance sheets and creating these for the company.
Okay.
And, well, that's my reflection, trying to improve my skills that I have to work on.
Right. And my last and final question to you, which is a bit of an out of the box question.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if you had an infinite supply of money, what would you do with it? What would be your plan?
My plan was probably setting it up for a future, because with the question, I don't know personally if it's gonna last forever. And with my current situationship, I wouldn't say well off, me personally, but I still live with my parents. I have a reasonable, good home. I don't have to pay for groceries. So right now I don't have any difficulties, but I know that's not gonna last forever.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna set away a set amount of money every time that I get access to the pool of money, either for myself or for my children in the future. So I'm not trying to quickly buy a house, quickly buy a car, and that's that, because I don't think that gives you structure. I want structure in my life. I want to have a job that I find fun, put the money aside, perhaps put it in trust funds, obligations, whatnot, but trying to invest in the future and not necessarily for right now.
Okay.
I think that's how I would handle it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come here today.
No problem. My pleasure.
Unfortunately, right now we do have quite a few people that we need to interview, so it might take about a week or 2 weeks for us to get back to you about this vacancy.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, and have
nice
a nice
to meet
day.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Let's go. How long was that?